Churchill Chronicles, Audiobook number 2, Coal and Coke, Engine of the Anonymous, written by Hayden W. Rawson was approaching the colliery. She really wanted to see what was in there. She went down the shaft and saw the rocks with those 8 letters on them. She said, "Geez, he was really right. Gonna go downwards." She plowed through the pebbles and continued going downwards. She decided to blow her whistle for no reason whatsoever. She then heard a voice. "Oh my god." Oh wait, I'm one of the 3 of them. "What if these guys came back down here? I'm getting tired." Rawson was confused. "Who are you?" The voice spoke up. "My name is, no, I'm not gonna say it yet. Like I said, let the events fall into place." The voice was about to leave, but Rawson said, "Wait!" The voice was very fed up. What do you want?" Rawson asked, "Can you tell me the story about Churchill's friend? Pretty please?" The voice was very upset now. "Fine, but not his friend's story, the other engine." Rawson said, "Oh, but thanks for considering." The voice transported Rawson to 1963. She saw a black engine being transported to the colliery by lorry before the colliery was reopened the year that she was previously in. The voice spoke up. "You see, that's carbon." Rawson was going to ask a question. "Is that Churchill's friend?" The voice was about to give up. No, it isn't. I swear if you ask about her one more time." "Never mind, sorry for yelling." The engine on the lorry was delivered. The owner of the colliery, David Wilson, said, "Hello, my engines. Welcome Carbon to the railway. Carbon, these are David and Dioptis." Rawson asked the voice, "Is Dioptis Churchill's friend?" The voice just said yes to her. David and Dioptis greeted Carbon, but Carbon didn't say anything. Rawson realized something. That red engine named David is Churchill? Oh my gosh. The voice replied with, "Oh my gosh, shut up and watch." A week after Carbon arrived, something bad happened. "So, what happens now?" asked Rawson. The voice sighed. "You watch." Carbon's front coupler was hitched onto the incline chain. "That's weird," said Rawson. He was slowly being pulled up the incline. Rawson watched nervously. "Is something wrong?" she asked. The voice remained silent. Carbon continued going up the incline. The rails creaked beneath his weight. Then clank! Something went wrong. Carbon suddenly stopped. "What was that?" Rawson asked. The voice got increasingly irritated. "The coupling." One of the workers ran towards the mechanism. Stop the engine!" "What are they doing?" Rawson shouted. The voice answered calmly. "They're trying to release him." The workers struggled with the mechanism, but Carbon was too heavy. The incline began pulling Carbon. Carbon's wheels started turning. "Wait!" shouted one of the workers. "He's still connected." The mechanism dragged Carbon further up the hill. Rawson looked horrified. "Can't they stop it?" The voice said nothing. As Carbon's wheels slipped against the rails, as the incline pulled him upward, the workers desperately tried to release the mechanism, but it was already too late. Then there was a loud metallic snap. The connection broke. Carbon suddenly rolled backwards. "Oh no!" Rawson screamed. Carbon gathered speed. The workers ran out of the way as Carbon rolled towards the end of the incline. "Stop him!" someone shouted, but there was nothing they could do. Carbon reached the end. For one horrible moment, his wheels left the rails. He disappeared from Rawson's view. A heavy crash echoed from below. Silence. Rawson stared. Her expression changed completely. What happened? The voice didn't answer immediately. Rawson turned towards the voice. What happened to Carbon? The voice lowered its voice. He died. Rawson's eyes widened. But he was only 1 week old. The voice just said, "Oh, so, David Wilson time traveled to bring him to the railway. It was built in 2010. Rawson looked towards the voice. She said, "You're being for real?" The voice replied with, "Yes, I am being for real." Rawson believed the voice. "Why didn't you stop Carbon's incident?" said Rawson. The voice said and sighed, "Because I can't interfere with every event that happens to every engine. My role is to be the messenger and be the engine who controls their fates." "Then why let him die?" The voice paused. "Because his fate has already been decided." Rawson didn't reply. She looked back down the incline. Carbon was gone. For once, she wasn't making jokes. She wasn't asking questions. She simply stood there, trying to understand what she has just witnessed. After a few moments, the voice spoke again. "Rosalind." Rawson replied with, "What?" The voice said, "It's time for us to go back to the present, 1991. The voice stopped speaking, went back to its realm, and transported Rawson to 1991. He saw Churchill coming back with a steam tender. He asked, "Hey, Rawson, you saw anything in the mine shaft?" Rawson looked at him and said, No, I did not." Rawson went to go back and get the wagon she was shunting earlier.